enough, the whole plan. So that's no easy for me. So let me put it like this. Scotland's getting humped. We've always been getting humped, and we always will get humped when we stay in this union. You're going to hear two things for the No campaign over the coming 2 years. One is, we're proud to be Scottish. The other is, we're better together. So let's examine these. We're proud to be Scottish. Okay, Ruth Davidson, Tories, told the Tory conference recently 85% of Scots contribute nothing to the Treasury. 85% contribute nothing. That's you. That's your family. That's your friends. She's proud to be Scottish, alright. Lib Dems believe in the rights of self-determination for every country in the world except Scotland. They attacked Blair's government for the left for being too Tory, and here they are propping up the most brutal Tory party we've ever seen in power. And now they get to the final kick in the teeth. Scottish Labour. Now let's think about what those two words mean. Scottish Labour uniting with the Tories in London to prevent Scotland getting their power. They're proud to be Scottish. Joanne Lamont recently said to her party conference, Scotland has a something for nothing culture. A something for nothing culture. That's you, again, she's talking about. You want something for nothing, your family and your friends want something for nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, Joanne, give us something first. Because at the moment, within this union, we've got nothing. Scottish Labour is, always has been and always will be a puppet of Westminster. They rewarded the loyalty of the Scottish vote by now actively campaigning against Scotland. So let's think about how Scottish history will remember these people who are so proud to be Scottish. They're selling the jerseys. These people are not proud to be Scottish. They're embarrassed to be Scottish. They're ashamed to be Scottish. They think we're either too stupid or too inept to run our own affairs. This is one of the countries that's got one of the greatest intellectual, scientific and artistic traditions in Europe. We gave the world the Enlightenment. We're too stupid to run our own affairs. So let us now turn to better together. Even forgetting the repeated invasions. We'll let that go. The union that they like to talk about was a backroom deal conducted between the English and the Scottish ruling class. They used bribery, they used manipulation, and they used threats to get us into that union in the first place. The Scottish people never voted for it, they never wanted it, there was riots in the streets against it, they went ahead and done it ever. What's that?
Done by committee.
Done by committee, aye, exactly. But we weren't represented in that committee. I actually read about the history of how that union came about. It's shocking, and it was one of the biggest disasters that ever befell this country. And ever since then, Scotland has been referred to as a region. Not a country, a region. We're going to our correspondent in Yorkshire. We're going to our correspondent in Teesside. We're going to our correspondent in Scotland. Right, okay. So, ever since then, with our governments we didn't vote for, we had a Labour Party that we did vote for that had remodelled itself to appeal to wealthy voters in the south of England. That wasn't representative of this democracy. Anybody here know what the Macron report is? Put your hand up if you know what the Macron report is. Right, that's about a third. The fact that 2/3 of the people here who are interested in Scottish independence don't know about one of the greatest crimes ever perpetrated against the Scottish people says it all. The Macron report was a report commissioned in the early 70s by the Tory government after oil was discovered in the North Sea about what the economic effects would be if Scotland, an independent Scotland, was to nationalise its oil industry. An independent report, not a biased report, not a pro-nationalist report. And it came back and said that nationalised Scotland was to nationalise its oil industry. It would be one of the richest countries in the world. It would be an embarrassing surplus. And here we are in a country that has widespread poverty, There's people in Glasgow that have got the lowest life expectancy in Europe. There's people in Falkirk can barely afford to put their heating on. We could have been one of the richest countries in the world. They buried that report, then they handed it to the incoming Labour administration, who also buried it, because they realised it would have been a gift to the Nationals. And we're supposed to believe that these people have got Scotland's best interests at heart. So let's get a bit more up to date. 1999, Tony Blair's government. A government that got in because Scots had voted for them. Blair and Donald Dewar, the so-called father of the nation, redrew the maritime boundaries, right? Now, before then, the border between Scotland and England, as you'll know, goes like that, right? The maritime boundaries went like that, horizontally, from east and west. Now that maritime boundary goes like that, off the east coast of Scotland. So there's now water outside Dundee and outside St Andrews that's no longer Scottish water. And why do you think they did that? Oil. 6,000 square miles that's no longer ours. Were the Scottish people consulted on that? Do we even know about it? You imagine Alex Salmon trying to pull a stunt like that, they would be on him. They're on him for tiny, tiny legal infractions. And these are two major crimes against the Scottish people that go unreported. And we're supposed to believe these people care about Scotland. Camden. One of the things we've got to get through to people that are undecided is it's know about Alex Salmon, it's know about the SNP. The amount of times I've heard the argument, oh, I can't stand that Alex Salmon. Independence is like giving him a birthday cake. This is the same argument that comes from people who say, well, I was up for independent Scotland and then I watched the Olympics. A man runs very fast, and that's supposed to be the same thing as the entire future of the Scottish economy. What we need to get through to people is know about the SNP, it's know about Salmon, the respect what they've done, they've got us to this point. They're effective negotiators. But 2014 is about the right to make the choice about what kind of country we want in 2060. Let's think about what an independent Scotland would look like politically. Realistically, the SNP are going to become the party of the establishment. Labour, Tories don't exist anyway, Labour, Lib Dems will be discredited. Because every single Labour politician who's now campaigning to save the Union, nobody's going to vote for them again. Now, there is such a thing as Labour for independence. People with actual principle, who believe in ending poverty in Scotland, are saying independence would be the best thing for Scotland. They've spoken out against their own party and admire them for it. They will become the Labour Party after independence, because they'll have retained their credibility. So what we'll have is a Labour Party that are actually on the left, that have severed ties with Westminster. We'll have a resurgent Scottish Socialist Party. We've got the Scottish Greens. So we're going to have a left bloc against the SNP. We're going to have a party of the centre and a party of the left and no party of the right. We're voting either to keep the Tories out of Scotland forever or potentially be dominated by them forever. That's what you've got to tell people. So look beyond the SNP to what the map of Scotland will look like after that. If we stay in the Union, if we vote no, they'll give us nothing. They will slap us for our temerity and even getting to this stage, and we will be impotent. We'll have no defences left against them whatsoever, and it will be like that for a long, long time. And that's the future your children and your grandchildren will inherit. So the Tories, who we didn't vote for, are dismantling everything Scotland holds dear: free education, care for the elderly, social housing, provision for the poor, free health care. These things will go if we vote no. And that's not something we can conceive of just now, but they will go. And the fight to get them back will be extraordinary and bruising. Miliband has promised to continue the cuts. He stood there in front of the trade union conference saying, I'm on your side, but if we're elected, we'll make the same cuts. Thanks for that one, Ed. making things a lot easier for us. So, vote no if you believe Scotland is too stupid to run its own affairs. Scotland is too inept to run its own affairs. I don't believe we are. I'm proud to be Scottish. Get out there, tell your friends and your family this is the one chance we've got. The next time we have a meeting like this, we should have 3 times the amount of people that are in here, and maybe then we'll finally get the country that we deserve.